Alright guys, check this thing out. You guys ever seen one of these before? Pretty sweet. This is a Banshee frame with a Quadzilla 500cc engine in it. Thing is insane. It's like the two best quads turned into one. It's got the better engine in it, which is faster, more torque, and just a beast of a motor in there. So we are going to go look at this thing today. As you can see, it's pretty nice. I don't know what kind of pipe that is on there, but it looks pretty decent. All the plastics are intact. Doesn't look too bad. Let's just read the description here. It says 1987 Banshee body with title with a 500 R Suzuki Quadzilla motor. It's been gone through, runs amazing, sounds amazing. Would trade for a Caddy, Audi, or truck. Do not need to sell, but would like to see what's out there. Just shoot me an offer, we can work from there. 5K cash is what he wanted for this thing. I messaged the guy. I offered $3,500. I said it's probably not worth more than that, you know, because of the frame, because he probably had to cut tabs, and he said there's no tabs cut or anything. He just made some tabs and bolted it in. So the Banshee frame is not cut, apparently. And he said it's pretty clean. He said it looks better in person. So he said he needs to get 4K for it, otherwise he won't sell it. So we're gonna go there with 4K cash and see what happens. It is a beast of a machine, so I really do want it. Just to test her out, because this thing's gotta be crazy. So anyway, stay tuned. Alright, well here it is. Check this thing out. Thing is mint. A little close up of the engine. 500cc. You can see it's stamped right here. 499 centimeters cubed. Piston stroke 86 millimeters. Thing is pretty cool. Wrap-tastic on there. Got the Banshee headlights on there. Pretty clean. Keyhin carb. And then it's got the Paul Turner pipe on here. Tusk Nerf bars. I think the only spot in the frame that was changed was right here. There's a mount for the Nerf bars. And over here, there's another mount right here, a plate welded on. But you can see these plates were fabbed right here from the original frame. But we'll get her inside the garage, take a closer look, and do the first startup, then go over the problems with it. So she's in the garage. Let's start going over the whole machine, and we'll go over the parts it came with as well. Came with a couple extra parts, a couple extra wheels. So we'll go over those, and then we'll start digging into this thing. So let's start with the price first. I think I paid $37.50 for it, if I remember correctly. And I wanted to pay $35, but he ended up coming down to $37.50, which I thought was decent considering he wanted $4,000 for it. I actually wanted $5,000 for it to begin with, but then it came down to $4,000, and then I got there, offered $36,000, and he wanted $37,550. So that's kind of the process and how I got him down a little bit. A lot of these engines alone go for $3,000, so I thought it was a pretty fair price. It is actually pretty nice. He just had the Tusk Nerf bars put on. He had the throttle put on right here, and then he had the whole machine tuned and gone through. Carburetor was just cleaned, and then what else was done to it? New grips right here, and I think his bill was like $1,500. He had the receipt for it as well. I'll have to find that. But underneath the seat here, we've got looks like I guess you can call it custom, but an air box with a nice, it looks like a brand new oiled air filter in there with an aluminum box, which is pretty nice. The seat cover is, the seat cover on it is Yamaha Racing USA on it. Pretty nice seat cover. The whole machine looks pretty good. There's no rips in the plastic or anything. The front fenders are unfortunately cut off right here, but the back ones look like they're in great condition. So that's good. This thing's got insane compression. I went today to my parents' house to pick up my motocross boots to kick this thing over, because the owner of it, when I got there, he was having a hard time kicking it over. He said it's really, really, really hard to kick over, and then it back kicks on you, and he said it could break your leg pretty easily. But he said he's getting it down, and we finally got it started after like probably the 50th kick, and it started right up and sounds really, really good. So really the only problem with it right now is coolant is leaking out of here, the water pump housing. And I looked up on some forums and they said that there's a little weep hole underneath here, and I can feel it actually. Let's see if I can see it on the camera here. I don't know if I can or not, but there's a little weep hole underneath there. And what happens is when the seal, the water pump seal goes bad, that weep hole starts letting coolant through. So I'm pretty sure it's a seal that went bad. So what we have to do is just make sure it's a water pump seal. To take off this cover, take off the pump, and then order up a new seal, replace that, and then this thing will be perfect. That's the only issue I know of with it. He also said that the handlebars vibrate a lot when you ride it. So he said updating the handlebars wouldn't be a bad thing. And I actually have some handlebars for it. Excuse the messy garage. I'm in the middle of cleaning it up right now. Everything's kind of all over the place, but I've got some handlebars for it, black ones. I think they're Pro Taper. We can put on there. So that'll look pretty good. And I think that'll take a lot of that vibration away. But let's go over the parts that came with it. These beadlock wheels came with it. So the set of those came with it. Let's see what else. I've got all my parts over here. Here are all the other parts for it. So here's the Weisco piston that came with it. The Weisco piston was pretty rough. We'll take a look at that too. A bunch of bolts. Here's the old rod and bearing for it. What else we got in here? Looks like the whole engine was rebuilt. We're going to take these boxes and go through them just so I can show you guys what was done to it, and then we'll go on from there. Alright, so here's what the piston looked like. This is the one that was in it before. This thing I think was recently rebuilt. At least that's what the guy said. But check this out. I think this is the stock piston. You can see it was getting too hot and rubbed right there. Oh, and on the other side. Giant piston. I mean, look at my hand compared to that. Thing is giant. But there's that piston. Looks like it's got a high compression piston in it now. So he said he runs 110 in it, but you can probably run premium, he said. then check this out. He said that I don't know if this is good or bad, but when the guy rebuilt the engine, he put different gears in it. Which I don't know how he did that, but he must have gotten a different set of gears, but these are the original ones. So we have those. Right now I think it's geared for circle track racing. So those are the gears that were out of it. We've got wheel spacers right here that come with it. He took those off, so he didn't really like those on there. And then we've got a couple sprockets, stuff like that, brake lines, some brake calipers, I think they're Banshee ones, brake lever, it's just stuff like that. We can see right here, like I said before, the rod was taken apart. Looks like the main bearings right in there. Spark plug was replaced. A couple more brake levers. Looks like there was Mossbarger Racing Products. I believe this is for the reeds. A light for the back. A couple other sprockets for the front. The stock reeds. One of these. So a couple extra parts, and then it came with the back plastics, an extra back plastics for the Banshee. You can see the 350 twin. So those are all the extra parts that came with it, which is pretty nice to have. I mounted the lights on when I got here. These are original Banshee headlights. The pair go for like $150, so I'm happy those were in there. Kind of completes the look of the machine. What else does this thing have? I think it's got updated shocks on it. Those are not original Banshee shocks, and I don't believe they're original Quadzilla shocks. So in the comments, leave a comment, what kind of shocks are these for the front? I tried looking them up, but I couldn't find out what they were. But they do look upgraded. What else? I think the stock coil CDI are on it, so that's good. It should be a little bit easier to start with the stock CDI. And then you can see they had to extend the shifter right here about 2.5 inches. But everything's really clean on it. Really nice for being from the 1980s. So, all right, well, should we start it up for the first time? Probably should see if there's coolant in it first. So check out the coolant and then we'll try to start this thing up. Hopefully it starts up. All right, so to start this thing, we got to get it to top dead center and then kick it over. He said, basically, you can feel it when it hits top dead center and then there's one big kick. So it's probably gonna take me a while, but we've got boot on, so we can really go ham with it. And then he says, usually you don't need the choke to start it, so we'll see. Sounds pretty good. I won't run it too long because there's coolant dripping out of it right there, you can see. So here's the issue. See, it's dripping out right there. So that's kind of where the weep hole is. You can see it's draining out from underneath there, then dripping right there. So that's the problem we have. Otherwise, it starts right up if you can get a good kick. If you look on this thing, you can see my foot really doesn't have much clearance. You gotta do it with your heel. So you basically have to get the perfect footing on there. Actually gave it a little throttle, and that's when it fired right up, so that was perfect. Didn't take as long as I thought it was gonna take, but it's got good compression. And at one time it did backfire, and it felt like I was just kicking a brick. Didn't even move. So, as you can see, it's leaking quite a bit. I mean, that's a big puddle underneath there. So we definitely have to take care of that issue before we ride it. Alright, let's see how smoothly this goes. Probably get it everywhere. Wasn't much in there. I'm just gonna leave that in there like that. There we go, now it's coming. You can hear it draining. And once that's drained, okay, let's see if I can get bolts kind of look corroded in there. Huh. Alright, let's see what we're dealing with here. Come on, baby. Alright, got that sucker off. So, let's see when you kick it over. If it spins, that's a good sign. So it's on there pretty good. Alright, so I just took the impeller off. It was a left-hand threaded bolt. You can see the L on it right there. So I took that guy off, and behind it is a brand new seal. So I'm not really sure how that could be leaking. And this is a brand new seal right here as well. So that's interesting. All right, we're gonna drain the oil. This will tell us if the oil seal is failing. I don't think it is, but it doesn't hurt to check it. Hopefully this bowl is gonna be big enough. Doesn't look that milky to me. I don't think that's milky at all. So I don't think coolant's getting mixed in the engine oil. Alright, so I'm looking at the diagram right here. And if we zoom in up on it, so look at this piece, right? So there's a bolt that connects the water pump impeller right there. See it right there, and then there's a washer. So we've got the bolt and the washer right here, but then what was on it was this seal right here, and see how that's broken? So I'm wondering if that one seal wasn't sealing it off, because you can see that 17, we go down to 17, this is what this looks like. That's what the seal looks like that we're missing, I think. And that seals off anything from going into the other seal, the mechanical seal, which is right there. That's the mechanical seal, and then this is the oil seal. If you look, 14. So there's the oil seal is 14, mechanical seal is 13. So those were just replaced. The only one that wasn't replaced was 17. I'm thinking that's the culprit, because what happens is the impeller gets bolted onto there, but nothing's preventing coolant from going into there from the bolt. So I wonder if we use like a crush washer on there, if that would prevent it. But I'm thinking that's the problem. Because here's the old mechanical seal right here. That's kind of what that looks like. And this sits in here like that, and it gets pounded into the engine like that. And then there's the oil seal behind it, and that was replaced. So I don't know what it is. We'll try to maybe put it back together and try to seal this up, because this surface right here, this is what was on it like this. So I'm guessing fluid got in behind there, went through there. It's causing problems. So, alright, so what I did, just for a temporary fix when we're ordering that part up, because it might take a while to get here, I put a little O-ring seal around there, and that will flatten when I screw that in. At least I'm hoping. So let's see. Get the impeller. So it's reverse thread, and it should flatten as I screw it in. Let me just see if it's happening. See if we're at the right. I think that's gonna work actually. Alright, well, we'll put her back together and see if that works. Hopefully that stops the leak. Alright, everything is put back together. We're going to add some coolant to it now, see if it leaks. Hopefully it does not and it's fixed. In the meantime, I'll order up that seal, but like I said, it might take a couple weeks to get here because it's kind of a special part. Finger there. I don't think anything yet. Alright, we might have to start it up again, let it warm up, and see if it leaks out of that hole. If not, I think we fixed it for the time being. No leaking yet. We'll let her warm up for a bit. I think we're golden. Let's just see. We'll wait for a couple minutes here and just make sure. But that means we can take it for the first ride. And that was the problem then. So the one seal that butts up to the washer was the problem. Just gonna get these mounts bolted down here first. Alright, so this light over here needs rewiring, but just for testing purposes, we're gonna start her up and see if the light right here turns on. So let's start her up, and then I think there's a switch up here for the lights. We'll see if they turn on. Oh yeah, that one works. Alright, we got the second light working. Now we just have to solder that up right there. Alright, that's all good. Alright, let's hit some of these grease fittings. There's one up there on the A-arm, one right there, one right there, one right here. We'll do it just to make sure. Alright, one more thing before we ride. We've got these handlebars. These are like the original, I don't know if they're Banshee handlebars or what they are, but they're red and they have tons of vibration. We're going to replace them with these. These are Pro Taper bars. It's the same height. I'm thinking these will work, but they're a little bit wider. So we'll have to see. Hopefully all the brakes and stuff work on it. Alright, new bars installed. Looking pretty sweet. So vibration should be down because of that. But these were the old bars. You can see the difference. These are a little wider too. By about maybe 2 inches. So I kind of like the black better anyway. Alright, so I just took off all the stickers as well. I think we might get a graphics kit for this thing. It already has a 500 on the side. It's got the Yamaha sticker on the tank, so it doesn't need much, but I think some black tones, like some black stickers, would look really cool. So this thing is ready to go. All we have left to do is ride it. So next video, sorry to do this to you guys, but next video, because this video is getting too long, we're going to take this thing for the first ride and see how she rips. Should be pretty fun. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and until next time, we